This is a message for Joe Public about tubeless ready, tubeless ready, tubeless ready wheels. Not tube tyre, tubeless ready wheel. I made a video about this before, but when you're pumping these up, they have you'll hear a ping and it means that it's sort of sealed against the rim. I think it's dipping down into a crevice there, you know, like clincher tyres are meant to, but they're very hard to get off. And I say that because I've had two punctures, which I'll talk about later, and both times when I've been out in the wild, if you want to call it that, I've not managed to get the side off. This time I did, but anyone with that problem, and I'll make a big thing about it now, for those that haven't used tubeless ready wheels, what I'm saying is I think they're designed to be a tighter fit, and you know, and when you pump them up, you'll hear a ping, ping, and that probably means that at least one of your sides is moved into the groove, and it's probably airtight even, you know, even though they use sealant and that for their tubeless tyres. I'm using a TPU inner tube, but it's the same principle, you know, it's sort of, they're wanting a really tight seal, and that can be really hard to get off. But I think if you keep massaging the wheel, you should be able to get it off. Once you get one bit, the whole lot will go. Well, that's what I found anyway, because I got one bit here. I didn't think I'd get it at all. And then I left it for the video because I thought I'll show them the rest, I'll show it sticking. But then when I checked it again, the whole side had released. So because I was out with a puncture out in the wild, and I couldn't get that side off, which meant I couldn't really lever my tyre layers in. I probably could have if I really tried, but you know. So that goes whether you've got a tubeless tyre or you've got an inner tube like I have here. I've got a TPU tube, and it was doing really good, but it was a thorn that done it. A thorn went right through. I think, for me anyway, 90% of my punctures are thorns from newly cut hedges, you know, by farmers or council. And that's another thing I want to say to Joe Public is, you'll watch the road bike YouTube videos about, you know, this is a Lugano 2 by Schwab. It's got a bit of puncture proofness, and not enough, obviously. Maybe nothing could have. It's like the thorn went right through the middle, you know. But yeah, I think one with Kevlar and that might have deflected it or something. And also had the branch sticking out, you know, so I should have just left the thorn in it. That's another tip. A tip to Joe Public: if you get a thorn in it, leave it there, because that's sealing the puncture. As soon as you pull it out, you've done the damn thing, you know. Yeah, thorns, newly cut hedges in the countryside or by the council or whatever, they're like a cyclist's nemesis. So I have to say to farmers and councils, stop it. Stop trimming your hedges. Because it's a bit like when the police put out that chain, you know, that chain they put out in the road. That's what it's a bit. Or it's akin to going through a minefield, really, if you're going through cut hedges, you know, in the road. So this one has a puncture protection a bit anyway. Not enough. I can feel it, even just feel it. It's too soft. And I've made a mistake buying this because I was watching a road bike video and a road cyclist said it's good protection, but road cyclists are going for speed. That's what they're going for primarily, you know. So they'll put suppleness and speed over puncture proof. But I think ordinary public, we really want puncture proof. We don't want punctures, do we? No. We just want puncture proofness. Look, my front wheels are a Michelin lithium wheel. That hardly ever gets punctures of at all, you know. It's really tight down here, or Kevlar stuff or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, in fact, that one's so puncture proof that I was blowing up my tyre too high on the front wheel, and something had to give way eventually after a few months, and it was my wheel that gave way. It wasn't the tyre. My wheel exploded basically on the side. Yeah, Decathlon sell these, and I would just keep buying this, but I think they only do them up to 25 or 28, and I want to go for comfort, so I'm going up to 32. So so far I've just left this one here, but this is like Well, to me it's a great wheel anyway. Hardly ever gets a puncture. For a while I was getting a puncture occasionally, I don't know why. But for years I didn't. I mean, listen to that, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so to Joe Public I say, if you've not tried tubeless ready wheels before, remember they're a lot tighter and at least one side there's a good chance it'll stick. And you'll know it because when you're pumping up the wheel you'll hear a ping, which probably to a tubeless tyre person is they'll go into a state of euphoria when you hear that, because it means that it's really sealed in at the side, you know, the bead. But for us that use inner tube, it's probably is a sign of the depression and future problems. It's sort of catching in there or something, you know. That's probably damage I've done through walking or cycling with punctured tyres. And point two is, so I said that because it was a surprise to me. Point two is, you might have to cut your tyre off. I'm not sure about this. My last tyre about 3 months ago was a Gatorskin, which is pretty expensive. Well, to me anyway, it was like £32 or something. And that's got a lot of Kevlar stuff or protection stuff or whatever. But what I found when that was stuck, I couldn't get it off. But at that time I didn't know any better, and I read on a website. You know, I started reading websites, tubeless tyre stuck to wheel or whatever, and some forum I saw that mountain bikers sometimes cut their wheel off, their tyre off, and you know, that was a bit of a shock to me, you know. But then I'd kept trying and I hadn't managed to remove it, so eventually I cut my tyre off as well. And it wasn't easy. I ended up using my wire cutters because something like a Gatorskin's got sort of the wire stuff in it and that, you know. I think they all have a bit of wire around about the beading, but that's probably the Kevlar and all that. It was pretty tough. But with hindsight, I'm not sure I did need to, because this time I was determined not to do the same. And I gave it a bit of massaging like that, mainly around about here, although I don't know if that made any difference, but eventually it went, you know, because I'd figured out what it was the first time when I made my last video. I said it was almost as if it fused with the side of the wheel, but I think what's happening is that the bead's sort of popping in to there, and because it's so tight on tubeless ready wheels, you know, it's airtight really. I think that's what happened, and it only happened on one side. Funnily enough, it didn't happen on the other side. Yeah, I think I'll make a few videos about this scenario anyway, but I just wanted to make that point clear. If you're buying a tubeless ready wheel for the first time, be prepared to realise that one side of the wheel or both might stick to the side. Stick's the wrong word. I think it's airtight, sort of fell into a groove, and you might have great difficulty removing it. But you know, because my tyres are like 32mm maximum, so I managed to get this one to go. But I don't know about you know, if you've got a mountain bike tyre at 50mm wide, it's really thick and heavy. So I don't know if that's what the cyclists were talking about in the forum, this same scenario, that sometimes on tubeless wheels, sometimes you'll need to cut them off. I don't know if that's true or not, you know, I'm just putting the myth out there. But give the massaging a good go, because well, definitely if you get under 32mm, say, because there must be a good chance that it'll go. Alright guys, I just had to forewarn you. Yeah, that was another 6 mile walk, so and don't cycle on the flat tyres, alright? You'll damage your wheel. Alright, goodbye. Well, you can if you want, it's up to you. To test, to test, to test, to test, to test, to test,